Warning: the consumption of raw beef may result in an increased risk of mild irritation, general discomfort, and/or hurt feelings. Viewer discretion is advised.
Here we are, raw beef, one of my favorite people to be a guest on this show ever, and also just in life. Now, here's the thing. There's a comedy club in Fort Collins, Colorado, that has a condo. It's called the Comedy Fort. Fantastic spot. Last time I was there, I hid a gift for my guest, the one and only Akeem Woods.
Akeem Woods, woo!
Yep.
Okay.
I hid a gift for him, right, behind a picture of a giant rooster, because he was going to be at the club a few months after me, and then gets to the club, and he's like, shit, they moved condos. And then I remember I texted you, well, I guess someone's got a brand new Breitling.
Yeah. And I had to Google what Breitling was because I had no idea what it was. And I'm like, this nigga didn't buy me a watch.
I wish I was selling that sort of ticket count where I was like, I'm just going to buy Akeem a $3,500 watch.
I would have went back to the condo.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, hey, listen, I left something here. Sorry.
I left something here taped to the wall.
Yeah.
But it was a coconut basil cilantro cream.
I know. I'm kind of bummed that I couldn't. That would have been fun to find.
You know, I figured I like the idea of leaving gifts.
I think that's cute. And then I was gonna leave something for Katie Hannigan because she's there soon. And then I forgot. So I didn't leave anything.
You know what? Forgetting, condo moving.
Yeah.
Sometimes shit.
and the new condo, love it.
Yeah.
Weird as fuck.
It's a thing that, to the listeners who don't do stand-up comedy, which is probably none of you, because stand-up comedy, I feel like, is a prerequisite now. Like, everyone has to do it.
I hate that.
I feel like it's like the Israeli army. Like, you have to do it.
You have to serve time.
You have to do a few years as a stand-up comedian before you can have a real life.
Yeah. I hope it's not rude me eating Skittles while we're doing this, is it?
Please, no.
Okay.
Skittles, one of our sponsors soon. The Skittles Corporation.
Not gay enough? Eat Skittles.
I mean, Skittles are like... Taste the Rainbow? Do you think that was before? That was definitely before.
Before gays?
Yeah, definitely.
Before we took the rainbow?
Gay pride and the rainbow became intertwined.
Computer nigga, can you Google that for us?
What year?
We just gave Mike, our wonderful producer, his new name that only my guests of color can call him. So I guess I can only have guests of color now, because I want to hear every show.
Every show. Computer nigga, take it away. But when did gays co-opt the rainbow? I don't know if that's something you can Google.
1994
is
when the Skittles started doing the rainbow.
Okay.
Oh.
No, we were doing that way before 1994. Probably, right?
And then they actually in 2020, they ditched the rainbow during Pride to not take away from Pride.
That's unnecessary.
Yeah, and then
I remember that.
I don't know how to search this without getting in trouble, so I'm going to go, when did rainbows become gay?
Sure, that's a good search.
I feel like that's, you know, the only person who'd argue with that is a leprechaun, and that's because it was
1978.
Yeah.
Oh, so no, we.
That's good to know.
Good for us. That's a good fact to know. 1978 when we started.
That's what I was thinking in my head. 70s-ish.
70s?
It seems like that was.
That makes
the
sense.
70s was like
When were you
Stonewall.
born?
78, same year.
Were you?
So, I
That's
came
adorable.
in on a rainbow, baby. Oh, by the way, same birthday.
November 16th.
So there you go. November 16th, 1978, just saying, for
1990.
1990.
I know.
If we were a couple, I would be the one constantly fretting about you leaving me.
And I would leave.
And you probably would.
I mean, yeah.
Men are...
Well, I'd just cheat.
I love how, like...
You know who also has our birthday?
What?
Pete Davidson.
Does he?
November 16th. I don't know what year. But yeah.
2007. I feel like Pete's only 19 or... is that even how long ago 2007 was? Jesus.
Can you tell us his birthday?
Wait, Pete's also a Scorpio?
Uh-huh.
That explains a lot.
I've never met him. Have you met him? I'm sure you've met him, right?
I've certainly met Pete, yeah. What?
November 16th, 1993.
93. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, he's 3 years younger than me. Ugh, life is sad.
Pete's a child. He's a little
I'm
baby.
31. He's 28, I think.
Little baby slinging dick around. That's why he gets so much ass. The Scorpio.
I wonder if his dick's really that big.
I'm sure it is. Your dick's huge.
My dick is huge.
And my dick is, I mean, it depends on what we're measuring it in. If we're talking personality, huge.
I agree.
Biggest dick in the room.
Yeah, I feel
right here. You know, inches. Well, my dick's more of a metric system.
It's fine.
Dick. Well, that's a fucking journey we took. Florida, that's where you're from.
Originally, Orlando. Yeah. Well, I was born in Brooklyn, but I grew up in Palm Bay, Florida.
Palm Bay, Florida.
Palm Bay. Palm Bay.
Palm Bay?
Yeah, Palm Bay, yeah. It's just as racist as you think.
I was gonna say, is it just as masturbatory? Is that just like a thing going on? Hey, Palm Bay.
Yeah, it's
Gotta
like
go grow some hair on my palms.
it's like an hour south of Orlando. I started comedy in Orlando in 2010, but I grew up in Palm Bay, Florida.
Orlando, I find Orlando, no shit, and I usually don't hold back if I don't like a city. It's a city that is surprisingly not as much dog shit as you think.
It's an amazing comedy city. It was. I don't know how it is now.
It's the little downtown area of Orlando. Fucking fun, unexpected.
Yeah.
You know, unexpected.
The Milk District. It's a nice little area. You did the fest, right? You did the Indie Fest, right?
I did that fest.
Yeah.
And I've also done the improv, which one of the few improvs. Sorry, improv comedy chain. A lot of you shit the bed, but the Orlando Improv
is in Orlando.
One of the 8 clubs that is in Orlando, is in the city it says it's in, and is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
You know?
That's my home club.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
That's a fun, you leave that, and then you go right across to that Irish bar, which exists outside of every improv.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're in cahoots.
It's where I met Godfrey at. It's why I was supposed to open for Pete, and then he canceled because SNL or something, and then I ended up opening for April Macy. We became really good friends. It's my first club. It was great.
I didn't know that about you at all.
Yeah.
Even though I knew you were a Floridian.
Florida guy.
Paul. So speaking of Palm Bay, did you ever have the uncle who would come up to you when you were a kid and go, you know, when you jerk off, when you play yourself too much, you grow hair on the palm of your hands. Just
no. I think it's a white thing.
Yeah. Well, probably. And the joke was how fast you looked at your hand.
Yeah.
To see how much you jerked off. Thought it was the funniest fucking thing.
No, I've never had that.
Possible.
I've heard that before.
Have you?
Yeah, but I don't think black people do that.
I don't think what? Look at their hands or jerk off?
Oh, we jerk off all the time, but like do the whole hairy palm thing.
I don't remember who the comedian was, but it was a Chicago guy who had a joke that was, I don't jerk off because I'm not gay. I don't need to touch a dick. I was like, that's
just
now
wild.
Now you just feel like
you're reaching.
Do you not urinate either?
Yeah, yeah. How do you have sex then?
Do you not bathe?
You just have the woman do everything.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm gonna be blindfolded because I don't want to see my own dick. Yeah,
that is fucking. To be so homophobic that you're like, or actually, I mean, because homophobia has to come with an element of just closeted homosexuality, right?
And I'd say 80% of the time.
Right? 80, okay, same thing.
I think there's a 20% that are just generally terrible
pure
people.
Hatred.
Yeah,
pure just hate exists, evil.
Yeah. But then 80% is like, I want to do it, but I can't do it, so I'm going to hate it.
Yeah, but then how many, but there you go. What percentage of that 20% do you think it's because the hate comes from like a deep-seated, like how many of them are actually?
Gay?
A little gay. But it's a deeper seated gay, where it's like
probably 5%.
Like they don't even realize that they're gay, kind of thing. Yeah. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
I wish there was. This would be a great TV show.
What?
Like just like you going around just flipping straight hateful gay dudes or hateful straight guys.
I'm not hot enough for that. They have to get a hotter gay.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, I've hooked up with some dudes who are like, I'm not gay, and then like, ooh, maybe I am. But like, as far as like turning people, which isn't a thing, but like, typically people who can turn people.
Yeah.
I should do the 2 quote, but I'm eating a Skittle.
It's a perfect time.
Yeah.
It's a perfect time to pop a yellow Skittle in your mouth.
They're like more customly, like standardly attractive. Like just like Mateo, for example. Mateo's gorgeous. He's tall. I don't know if he's tall, but he's a hot, slim, abs dude.
But Mateo, I would say if I were a guy who was needing to be turned, I would be too intimidated by Mateo. Because he's built.
I guess that isn't. That's a fair point.
Like if you ever look, I highly recommend go find Mateo Lane on Instagram and go to it. Just look at the page. It's like it's intimidating.
Yeah,
you're just like Jesus Christ.
I guess you're right. That's a good example. That's a good point.
The guy's chiseled in a way that like Greek gods wouldn't even.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe if Mateo like ate more bread.
Yeah. Put Mateo on a bread diet for 6 months.
And stop going to the gym for like a month. Then he'd be turning straight niggas gay.
Yeah, I actually feel like the first most gay guy or most straight guys who are actually gay but homophobic, whatever we call them, Republicans, whatever you want to call them, they need their first gay experience to be with another seemingly not gay dude. You need like an undercover gay.
Maybe.
Ooh,
or
undercover gay. That's
undercover
the name
gay.
of the show.
Or sometimes that is the name of the show. Or sometimes they like very effeminate men who are like because them like the closest they can get to a woman, but just still like you got a dick. You know what I mean?
Oh shit.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, that's so. When I was like early 20s, living in New Orleans, one of my buddies that I like kind of grew up with, started comedy with, he came out to me when we were like early 23.
Oh, who?
You definitely don't know him, and he definitely doesn't want me saying his name.
Oh, is he a comic now?
Not anymore. No.
Oh, okay.
He's out. But I mean, I did a video about it.
Yeah.
On Ari Shafir's "This Is Not Happening," about an experience we had where him and I got we got gay bashed.
Yeah.
Because him and I were both in an improv group together at the time, and we trained we had one of these directors who was like, being funny's not enough. We're going to take stage combat classes so that it looks real if we get into fights on stage.
That's wild.
And it did look real.
Yeah.
So real that most of the time it freaked the fucking audience out whenever we did like stage slaps and stage punches because we got so good at it. But afterwards you'd have people being like, did he really hit you?
Yeah.
Like, no, we have like a system. But my buddy and I were, just to recap the story, it was a Mardi Gras. It was during Bacchus Sunday or maybe Monday what's that parade? Orpheus. But we were coked up. We were fucking yoinked out of our brains. Yeah. And we were staging fights around the French Quarter where we were pretending to be lovers. Yeah. Just beating the shit out of one another. Right? And he's like a strapping Adonis. He was built like an Adonis. Yeah. I was built like an orthodontist, even back then, right? So he kicks my ass once in front of all these people, and he's like celebrating, and these two dudes walk up, and one of them goes, "Yo, man, you just kicked that guy's ass. Is that really your boyfriend?" Yeah. And he was like, "Yes, it is." And then they just started pounding on him. Oh, wow. And then I stood up and was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, no. And one of them just caught me in the jaw.
Jesus.
And I mean... If you've ever been hit in the jaw, like I was basically, I still say this. He knocked me out, but I was on coke. I was coked up, so I didn't lose consciousness. Oh, wow. And then what I saw was Tommy, that's his name, actually, I could say his name. Yeah. Just beat the ever-living shit out of all three of these dudes.
Oh, good for him.
Just thrashed them all, and then he came out to me for real.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Right. But I used to go hang out with him.
Is he still hot?
I haven't seen him in a minute, but yeah, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's... I'm sure he still takes care of himself. But I used to hang out with him at all these gay bars in New Orleans because there was, being honest, it was a great place to meet straight women.
Yeah, of course, because they're just like there having fun. There's not a lot of straight dudes there because they're not comfortable with their sexuality.
And I'm sure this is there's probably a term for what I'm about to say as being just it's an awful thing straight men do. But it would be like, you'd meet these girls and they'd be like, "Oh, you're not gay?" And you'd be like, "No, my friend is, and he's just nervous about being at these clubs alone, so I wanted to back him up and come hang out." And they're like, "Oh," and then you go.
Then you're diving in pussy.
Yeah. But like, we used to go to these clubs and you'd see, New Orleans.
But at least you were being authentic with it. You actually had a gay friend, and you weren't like, you're not just like, I need to find a gay nigga to bring. Like,
it was like a real story. But I feel like some people are like, "Oh, you use that to get laid?" I'm like, "Yeah,
you use what you get."
23.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like we all use whatever bullshit.
You use what God gave you. Yeah, if God gave you abs, you wear shirts that show your abs. Like that's just
God gave me a gay friend with abs who could fight.
Exactly.
But New Orleans being a convention city, you would see so many like dudes.
It's a convention city?
Big time.
What does that mean?
Meaning just like big corporate events, big conventions, they all come down. Yeah, it's like a big, because it's, you go, they do a convention for a day, and then they get shit-faced for 3 days.
Oh, I've never been.
And expense account and everything.
Oh.
So you'd see these guys coming in like suits, name tags still on. Clearly, they had like left the rest of the convention on Bourbon Street, and we're like, "What? This is a gay bar?"
Oh, download people. Yeah.
I didn't. When in Rome.
Yeah.
Shots.
And then the next thing you know, they're sucking someone's dick in the back.
Oh yeah, they're being just rotisseried.
Yeah, because they're gay and they have a wife.
Yeah, and then
they have a wife and kids. They got to go get those gay urges out once a year.
Get it out while in New Orleans, and then they
fall in love, and that's Brokeback Mountain. That's how Brokeback Mountain came to be. They fall in love. It's like, I can't leave. He was like, "Oh, you got to go back to fucking Dallas."
Does that sort of thing, when you'd be able to, did that anger you when you'd see like guys come in and be like,
"No,
you're just gay for the night"?
You know what angered me, which is what I was going to talk about.
Let's do it. Let's get to the beef.
Yeah, I hate, and it's so. I have a joke about it, and it's really I don't. It makes me less. It makes me. If I feel conservative, even when I say it, but it's still how I feel. I hate. I love. I hate how everything's blending, and when I say that, I mean, when I grew up, you can tell who's gay. You can tell by mannerisms or by how they dress, and now it's like you can't anymore because now there's a lot of metro dudes and dudes who are comfortable with their sexuality, which I'm cool with you being comfortable with sexuality. But I just hate, like, for instance, the dude that we were talking, I won't say the club, the dude we were talking about last night. Remember that dude?
Oh yeah.
Who clearly he had an earring on, he had a purple scarf on, he was dressed in these tight everything about him was screaming, this dude is a gay man.
Right.
I DM'd this nigga because I was like, I'm just curious. I DM'd him, I'm like, hey, blah 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 blah, are you gay? No offense, etc. etc. He was like, oh no, no, I'm not, but I appreciate it. And it's like, but motherfucker, then stop dressing that way. Like,
okay.
I just like it's like you can't either, like you can't be wearing a tight clothes,
right?
A pink scarf, an earring on your right ear, bracelets, nail polish, and then be like, oh no, I love pussy. And it's just because like the thing about being gay that straight people don't realize is the one thing that's not, there's a lot of hard things about it, but one of the hardest things is it's hard to find other gay people unless you go to gay centric places. Like we have to either go to a gay club or go to Chelsea or go to like a gay area. It's like, okay, all these niggas is gay. But like if you're not in New York or you're in Florida where I grew up, you had no idea. You couldn't find gay people. There weren't apps, so the only way to find gay people were basic
being
stuff.
Gay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, this dude's dressed nicely. Okay, he's hanging out with a lot of girlfriends. Okay, his nails are painted. Okay, cool, he's gay. Let me go hit on this nigga and see if he wants to do butt stuff in the back.
That's so funny because for the longest time growing up, there would always be like I have a cousin who is very gay.
Yeah.
And everyone knew it, but he didn't. He was never open about it. He lives here in New York until he was here.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, did you hear he's gay now? And I'm like, what, did you not know?
Yeah.
He was never, it's not now, it's always.
Yeah, he just decided that to let y'all niggas know,
Yeah, and it was one of those things where, but that was the thing growing up where it was like, oh, this guy's definitely gay.
Yeah.
There are certain gay isms that
100%.
straight people just don't, you know what I mean? And but then it was like, but a lot of those guys were probably hiding it or trying to hide it. So I see what you mean where it's like, hey, these things that we needed to identify, you can't just co-opt.
And now they're gone. It's like straight men are just dressing fancy and nice. And like you're dressed like a straight dude. And then no shade, but you're dressed like a regular ass.
I can't pull off. I can't pull off.
Like both of you are just dressed like boring, no offense, straight niggas. And I'm like, okay, live your dreams. But like if I came in and this nigga was wearing a cardigan, I'm like, okay, he sucks dick. And he's like, no, I don't. Well, then nigga, take off the cardigan. Like, you can't.
So many cardigan wearing guys where I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, are they?
It's like the same where I see a straight dude with a scarf. I'm like, okay, motherfucker. Like, if it's an eccentric scarf, your neck's cold, nigga, like.
Yeah. Do you feel that it's like gay culture is one of the. Because I side with you on this, where it's like I know guys who lean into that so hard, because they want to seem like they want to like project open-minded.
Sometimes I feel like cool. I was talking to.
I'm like, why do you need to do that though?
Who was I talking about? I think I was talking to Ethan about it. Some dudes do it to get women. Like they dress more feminine and they dress and they pretend I'm so in touch with my femininity and women feel safer.
They dress like the physical manifestation of a vagina.
And then women feel safer. Like, oh my God, let me give this guy some pussy. He's wearing pink.
Let me give this guy some pussy because he's dressed like one.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's like, and I know that's toxic, but that's just, and I'm Liz. Here's the thing: I don't want toxic masculinity. I'm not trying to say I need people to be toxic. I don't want that shit. But just. It's just like it's just like you're making it harder for people. And here's the thing. I don't like. If you dress that way, right?
Right.
If you dress very flamboyant and you're not gay, nigga, don't be mad if a gay person hits on you. Like you can't have it both ways. You can't dress like you suck dick, and then if I walk up to you and try to like flirt with you, you can't be like, why do gay people always flirt with me, nigga? Look what you're wearing. You're dressed gay as fuck. Of course we're gonna.
You are dressed like a unicorn.
Yeah, of course we're gonna flirt. If you don't want gay people, then wear a fucking baseball hat, nigga. And we're like, okay, that's a baseball nigga, and we're not gonna fucking.
Yeah. You are wearing a diamond-studded cock around your neck.
And I'm not gay. I just like pink or whatever. Ugh.
I mean, that is a funny. Well, because I think too, there's a way to be open-minded and accepting, but still critical.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's.
I had this idea, and I never talked about it, but I think maybe I talked about it once.
What?
I think if you're a certain level of hot,
Yeah.
like if you're like an 8 or above,
Yeah.
you should have. This is stupid. You should have to announce your sexuality every 20 minutes. Like every 20 minutes, you should have to say, "I'm bi, I'm straight." So that way, if I see a hot nigga, I can be like, "Oh wait, let me follow this nigga around for 20 minutes," and then 20 minutes go by.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm straight." I'm like, "Ah, fuck," and then I can go about my day.
Yeah.
But like, I think if you're a certain level of hot, you should have to, man or woman, you should have to announce your sexuality in 20-minute intervals.
Or like if you have to wear a wedding ring to tell people you're married.
Yeah.
You have a certain ring or like
Yeah,
a
1,000%.
Yeah, like you wear like it's a gay ring.
Yeah.
Or it's a straight ring.
Or a band or a headband or something.
Well, and that's what that's your point. That's what, like, I remember growing up, the earring in the right ear.
Yeah.
That was like the standard, like, I am a gay person.
Exactly.
I am wearing this on the right ear. I don't know why the right ear.
I don't know either. Is it right ear, computer?
Definitely right ear. Definitely right ear. Because I remember when I got my ears pierced in high school, and I got both of them pierced, and that at the time was like, ooh, on the edge. You getting both your ears pierced? I'm like, yeah, I like the way it looks.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about it any other way.
But is there pierced or not?
No, I had to take them out when I went to jail for mailbox baseball.
It's the right ear.
Yeah. That's right. I got arrested for vandalism when I was 18, and they made me take my earrings out.
The right ear. And that's the earring that this nigga had.
Yeah. I mean, but it is like a, I remember, so Rod Stewart.
Is that the porn nigga?
No, he's the singer, Rod Stewart, English singer.
Oh, who's the porn nigga with the big dick?
Less specific.
He's like famous for having like the biggest dick.
Ron Jeremy?
Yes.
And Rod Stewart and Ron Jeremy.
Okay, I thought you were
that's
talking
fucking
about Ron
hilarious to get those two confused. So wait, but I remember like Rod Stewart, it being like coming out that he was gay or fucked with men.
Yeah.
And I was with my mom and my aunt was like, everyone's gay now. And my mom was just like, that's just what you do in entertainment. You just get out there.
That's what you do in entertainment.
They just do. Why not? Well, I would do it. And my aunt and my mom got in a weird argument over my mom kind of half copping to being a lesbian. But like, but that's like I do.
Was your mom older or younger?
Younger sister.
Yeah. Okay.
No, she's old. No, my mom's the oldest of the sisters.
Okay.
But I think that's a thing too, where like I do think there is a level of like I don't know, but I still just want to see. So you get like a 23-year-old kid being like, fuck it, I'm gonna dress like Last of the Mohicans if it was from the future. If it was like Last of the Mohicans at a Paris fashion event.
Dudes would just do anything to get some pussy. Like, I remember I was with a friend of mine, and this was years ago. This was back in Orlando. We were playing pool at playing pool somewhere, and I don't play pool. Yeah. But there was this dude, me and my friend were talking loudly because we were having a lot of fun.
You just said you don't play pool?
No.
We're both we are Scorpios.
Yeah.
I'm same birthday, because I don't give a shit about pool.
Yeah, I don't care.
Right.
And me and her are both gay. It was my lesbian friend who's gorgeous, and then me, and we're just yelling, talking about gay shit. And this dude was like looking over at us, and I'm like, oh, he's checking her out because she doesn't look gay. Right. So I'm like, oh, that dude's checking you out. She's like, oh, that's annoying. So we just kept talking, and she made it clear that she was gay, and I made it, and then I was like, oh, I'm gay as well. So then he came over to start talking to us, and he was like, oh, I'm bi. To like try to gain into our conversation, like that was gonna be a thing for her, and she's like, okay, cool, because I guess he thought she was bi. She's like, I'm gay, motherfucker. Like she has a wife right now. It's like she's gay. So we started playing pool, and she's like, you should flirt with him. So I started flirting, whatever, and we started talking afterwards, because I got his number, because he was trying to use me to get to her. And then come to find out, he's like, nah, I've never done anything with a guy. I'm not really interested in guys that much. I'm like, nigga, you're not bi. You're just trying to like use gay shit to hook up with my friend who is gay.
So okay, perfect segue there. Do you think there are people who say they like obviously there are people? I think this is a growing thing.
Yeah.
Of like people who are like will just say they're bi, so that they're not just a straight person anymore.
1,000%.
Okay,
I mean, now here's the thing: bisexuality 100% exists.
Sure,
men,
1,000%.
Yeah, there were men and women who are bi, and just because they're with someone of the opposite sex doesn't take away their biness. Blah 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 blah.
Obviously.
But yes, I'm 1,000% that those dudes, the women don't do it, but I think there's 100% dudes that are like, oh yeah, I'm bi, and then you never see that nigga with the dude, and it's like, are you bi or you just want attention?
The amount of, and I hate to like just steer back but I've seen it a lot in comedy. The amount of like 28-year-old bearded white male comedians who mention are up top that they're bi, and then don't ever really do a joke about it or have nothing else to say about it.
I know a lot of people who I know exactly.
And it's sort of like, well, because here's the thing, and whatever. I've told you this, but I've had one intimate male experience in my life, right, where I was like with a guy, sexually. We didn't fuck, but we did everything else, But I did it, 2013, It came out of sheer, pure, 1,000% like curiosity. And it was a moment of just like, hey, the dude was hitting on me. I clearly don't project any gay shit, but I've also learned that like I think I'm a type for some gay guys.
Oh, you're a bear,
I'm a bear,
you're 1,000%. You clean up in the bear community.
So but I've had, and this dude was definitely not a bear. I've learned was like an otter twink hybrid. But I still know the guy. I'll tell you his name after. I don't want to throw him under the bus. But he's in comedy. But like it was a thing where it just happened. I was like, fuck it. I went with it, and it was more. It was driven more for me out of like the sheer curiosity of it all than it was out of like the sexual. But I was able to like, hey, I could do this. Because I'm probably a high functioning sociopath. And this is what I'll do instead of murder people. But, you know what I mean? But like it happened, and the next day I was like, all right, that was it. I don't think I'll ever do it again. And I brought this up once, and people are like, why don't you talk about this on stage? I'm like, because I don't want to then be forced into being like, you're bi. I'm like, because I'm not. I am not bisexual.
You had sex. You hooked up with a dude once.
Once. I hooked up with a dude once, but I am not. I don't want, like, I feel like there's too many people waving flags like that.
I know a lot of people like that. And I know some people who are just like you. Like, I know a guy who's, I can't think of his name, but I remember he had an experience like that before. And then another straight dude was probably like, dude, you should do this LGBT festival. And the guy, which I applaud to him, I wish I remember his name so I can like tell him in person, but I don't remember his name. But I applaud him for like, no, he's like, dude, I'm not LGBT. He's like, I'm a straight dude. I just let a dude blow me once and it was cool. Like I'm not.
That's the thing. Like I'll definitely talk about it on stage one day, but I just don't want it to come under this like, oh, look who's trying to get their LGBT. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Dude, it's like, stop trying to be.
I'm not trying to jump on this bandwagon.
If you're not marginalized, you're not marginalized. Don't try to be like. I kissed the guy. I played spin the bottle, and I kissed the guy.
Well, that's the thing. There's victim's privilege now. Everyone wants to be like, no, I didn't. No, I've suffered all the way, and it's like we all suffered in different ways. We don't have to wear it like we're proud of it. Learn from it.
Because I know
coming out of it is what's proud of it. I know a dude
here. I don't want to say his name either, but I've seen him on some shows. And he has jokes about being bi, and the jokes are fine. They're not great, but they're not bad. And then I've talked to some people who know him. He's like, oh no, he's only had girlfriends. He's never. I'm like, has anyone seen this nigga do anything with a guy? And they're like, no. I think he was drunk and kissed a guy once. I'm like, then the nigga's not bi. He's just a dude. He's just a dude who wants to get attention.
Someone very, very dear to me, who I love very much, who I've known my whole life, still know, is bisexual, and it was tortured by it for a very long time. Because they were constantly dating a woman, dating a man, dating a woman, trying to figure out who they were, would be dating a man and then would be really into, like it was actually attracted fully to both sexes, and both of those two genders, men and women specifically of the two, and it was fucking rough on them.
It was a rough
time. It wasn't just this easy swinging like, ooh, I'm bi, I could fuck anyone. It was like
the stigma of bisexuality is so it sucks because some women won't date bisexual men because like, you're gay, and it's like, no, he's bi. There's a middle thing that you can be, and then there's this stigma that like, if you're bi, you're cheating all the time. It's like, you could be bi and not a cheater. Like if you're a cheater, you're gonna cheat no matter what your sexuality is. If you're gay and you're a cheater, you're gonna cheat. If you're straight and you're a cheater, you're gonna cheat. So the fact that you're bi or whatever doesn't make you more prone to cheating.
No.
It just means you're like if you're gonna cheat,
Actually,
you're gonna cheat.
So in my experience with who I'm talking about here, makes you a little more prone to like beat yourself up constantly.
Yeah.
Because you constantly think you're cheating on someone emotionally, or yourself, or denying yourself. It's like, from what I've seen, it's like it's not this easy, happy-go-lucky, skippy bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm sure for some people it is, but it's one of my biggest fucking things that I hate is co-opting someone else's actual journey for yourself to get ahead, because it's like, look, dude, I'm a straight white dude. I'm not gonna act like I'm not, but I'm also not gonna act like I chose it. I didn't. I mean, I am who I am, and I'm also not gonna fucking try and jump on anybody else's bandwagon to be like, ooh, but I hurt too. It's like I hurt in my own ways.
Yeah, well,
I suffered my own
we all
ways.
suffer.
I'll deal with it. But it's also, I fucking hate that it's like, just because you're a straight white guy who wasn't, beaten by a drunk father, that you were what, a piece of shit now? You're less than, because then it's like, so does that mean if you're like a transgender person, you're just better than everyone all of a sudden?
No, you still be a piece of shit and you're a piece of shit in all the spectrum of life.
Exactly. It's like, but people they start to wear this shit, like, and I'm not talking about people who are actually the transgender or actually, I'm talking about people, this like middle ground of like wokeness where it's like, you treat people like their identity
rather than them as a person.
As a person, right? Their identity overrides them as a person.
Each person is
like, that's not how you. That's not fair. That's fucked up.
What they're doing a lot to straight men now, they're vilifying them, which I think is wild.
Yeah.
Did you see She-Hulk?
I haven't seen She-Hulk. Yes, no, haven't seen it yet.
It's bad. And
no.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like in concept it would be bad.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I was talking to my buddy Ruben Mercado. I'll say his name. He used to do comedy, but not anymore because he's a big comic book nerd.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. What they're doing with She-Hulk is what they used to do. Remember those black exploitation movies?
Sure.
He brought up this point, and where they would really exploit the fact that black people were excited to see themselves on TV. So they would do all these terrible, hacky, awful movies, but they were like, black people, look how. I think they're doing that with women now, in the fact that they're really like being hyper feminist to the point where it's like they're treating men like we're all idiots. Like they're really bigging up like woman power, and it's going to the point where it's like fucking up the storyline.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because like, okay, so the beginning of She-Hulk, if you don't know, so here's the thing. I don't know anything about She-Hulk. I only know this because my buddy Ruben is a nerd and he read all the books. So originally how She-Hulk gets her powers is she gets into an accident or a car accident or something like that, and she needs a blood transfusion. So Bruce Banner, the Hulk, is related to her, that he gives her a blood transfusion knowing that it might fuck her up, but he was the only match or whatever. So he gives her the blood transfusion that saves her life. She becomes a She-Hulk. That's how it originally happened, which I think is good. It shows that they have a relationship. It shows that Bruce is like a good person for helping her out, and it also shows that she's a strong person. Blah blah blah. And then she becomes a She-Hulk, and then she's like the main character, or whatever. And she does a bunch of dope things. She's better at controlling her powers than he is. For whatever anomaly, because she just is. She can control herself in the Hulk, etc., etc. That's how it happened in the comic books. Right. This is how they made it happen in the show. The show happens. She's driving with Bruce. She gets into a car accident. Right. She drags him out the car. Sure. And it's like, where does that happen? You drag him out the car, like you're just strong enough to drag the Hulk out of the car, and the Hulk didn't transform into the Hulk. Okay. He just got into a car accident because he had a bracelet that stopped him from transforming the Hulk, which they made because they needed her to be the hero. So then she drags her out of the car. She gets blood on her, and then she turns into the Hulk. So it's like, it took away the whole point, which was him helping her to make it seem like she's just a superhero. She's like, she saved the Hulk, and now she's gonna turn. So it's like, dude, yeah. And then the first episode, another scene happens where she's like all beat up or whatever, and she rushes into the bathroom. And as soon as she rushes into the bathroom, these three women come in, and they're like, "Who did this to you? What man did this to you? We're gonna call." And it's like, if people see you beat up in a bathroom, they're not going to immediately blame a man. They're going to be like, what the fuck happened? We should call the cops. And then they had this weird, like, nod to trans people. They're like, one of the persons was like, whoever did this to him, you should leave him. And then another, they was like, or them.
Just to throw it in.
Yeah, and I'm like, y'all niggas is reaching, like, really, motherfucker?
That's what it is. I mean,
and the whole series is like that.
Yeah,
it's just a whole series like straight men are stupid, women are the best, and the whole series is like that. And it's like, dude, the She-Hulk comic books, from what I've heard from people, it's actually really good, and it's a really pro-woman comic book. You guys could have just made that, but instead they spend the whole fucking series like trying to be like, women are the best and men are retarded. And it's like, you can empower women without making men look like we're all fucking Neanderthals.
Well, it also is a bad way to empower women by having to make men look stupid.
Yeah,
because then you're being like, oh, women can't be empowered around just normal dudes. Yeah, it can only be stupid men.
Have to be stupid
in order for women to look good. No, you're like, that's terrible writing. That's you're fucking the whole thing up.
The show is written terribly, and the thing that sucks about it is there's some people who hate the show because they're generally sexist.
Oh yeah.
But then there's a lot of people who hate the show because it's a bad show. And then, as soon as you say that, you say you're sexist, and it's like, no, nigga, the show's bad.
Dude, the amount of times I've had that. Like I back in the day when Jessica Jones first aired, the first season of Jessica Jones on Netflix. Yeah. I still maintain this. I do not think it was a good show at all. Yeah. I think the lead actress was really good. The two lead characters really good. Yeah. And the story itself was good. But the episodes there were too many episodes. I just thought it was sloppily done, and it was Netflix, so they dump everything at once, so they don't have to make every episode very good because you're just going to binge watch. I just didn't love Jessica Jones. And that was in 2015.
I loved fucking WandaVision.
Yeah, WandaVision
was like flawless, and she was very powerful, dominating woman, but they didn't make the whole thing like, oh, look at a woman, huh? What? Yeah, you see a woman?
But it's like the moment you're like, I'm not into it. It's like, oh, because you're a man, because you're sexist. It's not for you. I'm like, really? That's what we're doing now?
She-Hulk, every episode is just painting men are retarded, women are the best. Like she's not fault at everything. She's perfect, and everything else is everyone else's fault. She doesn't take blame for anything throughout the entire show.
Well, I mean, from what I had heard, the original canon was that character came across a tampon that had soaked in a bunch of gamma radiation, and when she put it in during her period, it turned all of her period attributes, like rage, and that's why she knew how to contain them, was because she was a woman who dealt with this once a month and could do it again, even when they were at Hulk level.
I hate, and it's like, and the thing is, I wanted to like the show.
Why is there a She-Hulk in the first place?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I mean, it was a Marvel comic. I know that. But, like, why? Like, it's one of those things where I don't understand why the fuck it has to constantly be this, like, oh, we want to do a thing for women. Let's just take a thing that already exists. Yeah. Not because I'm one of those, you're ruining it. I don't think that at all. It's more like, why not just make original content? Yeah. Why not just encourage everyone else to make original
The thing about She-Hulk is, I never read it, so I'm just basing it off what my friend Ruben said. Yeah. It's a great comic book. They really made a great female version of Bruce, but this show isn't terrible because they're not humanizing her. They're making her seem like she's above everything. Like the fact that they wouldn't even they made her look like she's on top of Bruce instead of like what really happened is like he gave her a blood transfusion to save her life. Right. So like no. She pulled this nigga out of a car, got some blood on her, and now she's like they make like everything has to be her. She's the best.
Got some blood on her. Yeah. It's like wouldn't you just wipe the blood?
Yeah. It doesn't even make sense. That whole scene makes no sense.
Yeah,
So that's another thing I hate. I hate that show because it's like it's so pandering to women. And the thing is, some women don't even realize. I can't say all women, because some women hate it too. But a lot of women don't even realize it. They're just like, oh, look what they're doing. It's like, nigga, they're pandering to y'all because they know y'all gonna pay for the shit.
Well, I mean, also, like, doesn't that create worse? Like, doesn't that just create worse versions of that? Yeah. In the sense of like, I truly believe that. The two phrases that ruined society, both were uttered by the greatest generation, ironically so, were I just don't want my kids to have to struggle like I did. Yeah. Because not realizing like, oh, the struggle actually made you human and good and great. Yeah. And then you created this generation of just like, well, I don't have to work for anything. Yeah. And then the customer's always right. I think that's one of the worst.
I agree with both of those, yeah.
But like, this is the thing of like, if you just be like, oh no, you don't have to make this shit good at all, or original in any way. You can just take an idea and butcher it and then just throw agenda into it. and just throw it out there, then it's just going to create more of that. And eventually it's going to come to a point where it's like, oh, wait a second. Wait, are shows about women all garbage? You're like, no, that's not true at all.
Yeah.
However, there've just been a bunch that are.
Because they're just pandering. But they do the same. I mean, they always try to do it. And it seems so forced when you watch it, like the they/them line. I'm like, that was forced.
Yeah.
And then when they throw in any type of gay stuff, they're like, you guys are really forcing it. You had the chance to make a really authentic, great show, and you opted out of that and decided to just force feed this woman power shit without. It's like you can be empowering a woman without having to be so blunt and stupid, like terrible. About it.
Because it's also funny because like whenever like they try and inject. It's like, yeah, man, I know whenever I'm hanging out with 2 or more gay people, all they do is talk about swallowing cum and doing poppers.
Yeah.
It's like, or they're just having lunch. How about they're just talking?
Yeah, no. We have to establish that they're gay. We have to establish that they're gay.
You have to.
And you have to establish that this woman is trans. And
Right.
it's like, you don't, though.
No.
They can just exist.
They can just exist. Like, yeah, whenever I'm hanging out with 1 or more black dudes, or black
Fried
people.
chicken.
First of all, and like they're rapping constantly. I have to eventually just, you know, it's constant. It's like, no, there's so much dumb, like, oh, wait, they're trans? Well, guess what? We've got to make sure that someone dead names them so that they can then stand their ground and make, it's like, what the fuck why not just let them be people?
Yeah, it's a bad. Do you watch the show, Computer Nigga?
No, I don't. I have buddies that are in it, so I don't want to talk shit.
Well, they shoot, they shoot in Atlanta.
Oh yeah. I have a friend who was in it too. Still, fuck that nigga and the show.
I mean, wait, is Clayton English in it?
No.
Oh.
I don't know, maybe, but not him. Not that.
I do love me some Clayton English. Shout out to Clayton English.
I like Clayton too.
I think he's in something. He's in something Marvel-esque.
He was in WandaVision, I think. I think. Don't quote me on that.
But
Clayton's
that whole
funny.
idea of like like especially when it's corporate when it's corporate driven. So when it's like a TV network or a streaming service being like, hey, wokeify this. It's like, well, that's for the wrong reasons. We all understand that, right?
Yeah.
But some people don't. Some people see like a major corporation posting BLM and they're like, oh, I'm with them now. And it's like, do you not see the oldest trick in the book happening right in front of your fucking eyes? A white man
posted that.
Yeah.
A conservative white man who voted for Trump was like, let's get these BLM niggas money.
Any corporation that does it, I immediately distrust it. Like
same with Pride. When they did a lot of them niggas was like doing all those rainbow shit.
Oh
like,
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Chick-fil-A was probably like, ooh, look, we have a rainbow chicken sandwich. We still hate the gays and we fund conversion therapy, but get your rainbow sauce, nigga. Like,
I mean, dude, you used to live in LA. There's that Chick-fil-A on the corner of Sunset and Highland.
Yeah.
Which is one of the busiest Chick-fil-A's I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And that's pretty close to West Hollywood.
It's,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, that's pretty fucking...
They don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I myself have been guilty of being in airports.
Yeah.
And being like, I'm going to Chick-fil-A. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's right there. You know?
It's just like, I was going to... what was I going to say? What were we talking about right before that?
Oh, She-Hulk. Talking about corporations co-opting...
Yeah.
Being like gay, black, women. I mean, Reebok did that shit years ago where they were like the woman's shoe.
Yeah.
I was like, are you kidding me?
Damn, I had a point. I forgot it.
Fuck.
Bic made a pen for ladies, and it was just a pink pen. There was nothing special.
Oh, that's right, because the women would feel comfortable writing.
Oh, yeah. I knew She-Hulk was going to be on. Here's a tell. Remember, you saw Avengers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Remember the last Avengers?
The Endgame.
Endgame, right?
Yeah.
I remember when they had that moment where it was like all the women did something.
Yeah.
And they were like, look, that was the whole movie was great. That was so fucking forced and unnecessary.
Like the wife showing up.
Yeah, no, they did like
Pepper Potts showing up in like an iron suit. Oh, you talking?
No, that was dope. When all the women came together on screen.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I'm like, that was unnecessary. Like, we know all these women exist. We know all of them were dope. Captain Marvel was great. Pepper's great. Like, we know all these people were dope.
Yeah.
Why did they have to have a cameo? Like, that's something that they would have done when they were doing black exploitation. They would have did the same thing. Like, get all the niggas together. It's like they did the same thing, but for women. It's like you didn't have to have that shot. We know all these women are dope.
Yeah.
You didn't have to have that shot, but you did that shot to pander, to be like, look at all this women shit we're doing. And that was like a telltale sign that was what they're going to do moving forward. And then that's what they did with She-Hulk. The whole show is like, oh, women are so great.
Well, also the idea...
men are so stupid.
No, it's also the idea... I mean, you bring up a good point, because there's a lot of like... That shit happens now where it's like, well, men did that for so long, excluding women. I'm like, I mean, okay... I was never a part of some shit like that, but also I know, like, okay, if that's how it went down, don't you see that it's wrong?
Yeah.
So why are you going to do the exact same?
You can't fight fire or fire because
thing?
everything's on. Because then everyone dies.
Everything burns. You know, it's like if you be like, well, this happened for so long because heteronormative, it was this way. It's like, well, then if you do the same fucking thing,
it's counterproductive.
You're just going to create the same waves. Like, be better. Isn't that the idea? We're all supposed to be better.
Yeah.
And it's a very tricky.
Yeah, it's really fuck. And the thing is, it's fucking up great. Like that show in particular had such a great opportunity to be so great.
She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I mean, I have not seen it. I want to watch it now just to be like, yep.
Just watch the first episode and you'll see. There's so many. The first episode is so fucking terrible. Like it's just like everything is like men. So like you just watch how dumb they portray men. Like from the beginning to the end, everything is like men are stupid, men are retarded. Look at this dumb man. Look at it's just like come on.
It's very.
And then she's painted as like this godlike thing. Like she's like the perfect. And I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah, and I mean, there's also a thing where like if it's like you don't know who. Like it's weird because I'm in comedy. Yeah. But like I didn't know who Adie Bryant was because I'm not an active SNL watcher.
I love her, but I don't know who. But I watch this now. Yeah.
Right. Now I know who she is. Yeah. And I've looked at clips. And I'm like, oh yeah, she was fucking great on SNL, and she's great going forward. Yeah. Yeah. But then like the person who gave me hell for that was like, oh, I'm not sure who Adie Bryant is actually. They just lit me up for not knowing who a female performer was. I'm like, it has nothing to do with her being female. Yeah. It has to do with the fact that there's so many fucking comedians in this orbit in New York City, and I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, and if you don't watch SNL, that's like someone being mad at me because I don't know a football player. I don't watch football.
Right. But like a month and a half ago, I was here. I went to go see Rage Against the Machine at the Garden. Yeah. And this same person was like, oh, really? You went to go do that? Well, I just don't have time to go watch a bunch of angry white men on stage. I'm like, oh, I get to have this moment? Yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's crazy considering the lead singer is Chicano. Yeah. You know, and like he's like Mexican Jewish. Yeah. And the lead guitarist, Tom Morello, I believe is also, like neither one of them are white dudes. Yeah. You know what I mean? And all of their songs are about like destroying the government and the fascist, like white patriarchy. Like what? And it's like, oh, you see?
What'd she say?
Took it like I was an asshole for trying to tell her something. Took it as like I don't need this mansplain shit to me. I'm like, I'm not mansplaining.
You're just explaining something.
I'm giving you the same exact attitude you gave me. And it's like you get to be righteous, and I'm a sexist. Yeah, I'm a mansplaining. That's fucking weird. But that is also accepted now. Yeah, where it's like, as a white dude, any opinion you have to put it out there so gracefully because there's so many just little surgeons, little woke surgeons, right? To be like, nope, look at this, it's sexist. Nope, it's racist. Nope, it's phobic. It's phobic in some way.
Everyone's they're so overcorrecting. Yeah. Like it just happened to TJ, you know TJ. You saw TJ posted on his Instagram that like his video.
Oh, yeah, Tanal, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, and so I DM'd TJ and I was like, what happened? So apparently he had Paris on his show, Exit of the Cellar. And Paris Sachet, amazing comic, gay. Or she might be. I think sometimes he says bi, but I've only seen her with women.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say her sexuality. But she's not a straight black woman. All right.
Yeah. But awesome comedian.
Amazing comedian. I'm just gonna say the nigga's gay. So she wants to if she wants to correct me, text me, Paris. Yeah. A gay woman is on the show and they're talking about whatever, and then there's a segment of the show where they talk about trans people. Right. And Paris was saying they were making jokes or whatever, and Paris was, and I don't know exactly what Paris said because I wasn't there, so I might. But long story short, they were arguing over whether or not trans people should be able to play against straight people. I'm not straight people.
Like women, like the UFC fighting type
that's
stuff.
That's what they were arguing about. I don't know what stance they were taking. I wasn't there, but that's what they were arguing about. It was, and they were making jokes about it. Then this dude's videographer messages him and is like, "Hey, I'm uncomfortable because you guys for the trans jokes that you guys made. Moving forward, I'm not going to record for you guys anymore." Right. It's like, motherfucker, there were no trans jokes. They brought up a trans topic and made jokes about the topic and talked about the topic. Are we not allowed to talk about topics now? Yeah. Like it's like gay niggas, and I hate that gay niggas do it. But gay motherfuckers, the LGBTQ, my fucking community, are so like if you mention them, they don't even listen to context. They don't listen to anything. They don't listen to intent. They just say cancel this nigga. because you mentioned us and you're canceled. And they don't even give a fuck if you're part of the community. Like Flame Monroe, I don't know if you know Flame Monroe, dope ass comic. She's
That's a great name.
She's the Netflix She Ready thing.
Oh, okay.
It's for She's trans, from Chicago. Her and Godfrey are tight,
right?
Because they both started in Chicago. I've never met her, but I've talked with her like through Godfrey's podcast or whatever.
Right.
Dope as fuck, really dope trans comic. But they even come for her because she doesn't agree with a lot of things that they agree with, and she talks about it, and then they go for her. It's like, nigga, she is trans. And not only is she trans, she was trans way before it was like cool. She was trans back in like the 80s.
Right.
The 70s. So it's like
she was a tranny.
Yeah.
Before before they called it trans. Before they were like, oh, transgender person. Back when you had to just deal with the slur.
Yeah, she's always been tight with all the Chicago people. She's tight with like Corey Holcomb and Godfrey and all these people. And the community gives her backlash too. And it's like, motherfucker, what? It's like you can, like if you mention the LGBT community and you're not part of it, and even if you are part of it, if you're saying something that they don't agree with, immediately they'll like cancel him. He's homophobic. Cancel him. He's transphobic. Cancel him. It's like, nigga, it's context.
You also see that canceling doesn't work.
Well, of course not. But
that's the other thing too. Where it's like it's been proven now, time and time again. Like all you're doing is alienating an ally.
Yeah.
All you're doing, and also it's like, there's a way to be like, hey, be accountable for what you say without being like, but we're never speaking to you again. It's
and
like,
it's like that.
No,
the camera
just have an argument.
Yeah, the camera nigga could have walked up to fucking TJ and was like, hey, and y'all could have had an adult conversation about the shit. But meanwhile, you're just a fucking coward, and you're just gonna DM him and be like, I feel that you will feel that you will do that. And it's like, TJ's not transphobic.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, I thought
you could have had that conversation.
I thought you were going to talk about the other thing. So TJ,
what's the other thing?
TJ the comedian. Look him up on. He's very funny. Has a special out right now called January 3rd. But he posted something on his Instagram last week where he was at Gotham, and he said an Indian couple came in and they were a little hammered and they started heckling him.
Yeah.
Right. TJ's Haitian.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And he kind of gave it back, and then the dude eventually was like a problem.
Yeah.
So the staff is throwing him out, and the bouncers were one white guy, one black guy.
Yeah.
And they're throwing this guy out, and he gets belligerent, so they have to sort of like use force to throw him out.
Yeah.
And of course, the wife was like, "Look how racist this is.
Yeah.
They're throwing out my husband because he's Indian."
Yeah.
And TJ was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
They're throwing him out because he's heckling me, a non-white person.
Yeah.
And because one of the guys throwing him out is white, that's racist.
Yeah.
Because he's also belligerent and heckling.
Yeah. It's like
this thing where it's like, well, now you're just taking a word and destroying the actual.
Yeah. That's why I hate people do this in the industry too. Like I remember there's a comedy festival that means nothing. It's like Florida's Funniest. So it's a competition in Florida.
Yeah.
It means nothing anywhere else, but in Florida it means it's a big deal. And I started there, so like I see all the posts.
Sure. Yeah.
There's a black comic that tried to get out. I would say his name, but I literally don't remember.
Yeah.
And he didn't get into the fest. He didn't get into the competition, right? You just submit videos. His video was terrible. It was like you pin bomb it at some open mic. So he submitted videos, and then immediately he didn't get into the into the competition. And the owner, the person who books it, who's been doing it for like 7 or 8 years, is a white woman. Immediately he posted this festival. This comedy competition is racist. They don't fuck with black people, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nigga, there's been 9 winners. 5 of them have been black.
Yeah.
Like J.P. Ball won, Preacher Lawson won, fucking Ken Miller won. Like, black people have only won. It's mostly been won by black people.
And very handsome black guys, by the way. 3 very handsome black guys.
Nigga, you're not funny.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, and that's what infuriates me is because, like, is the industry racist? 1,000%.
Sure.
Is the industry homophobic? 1,000%. Are they always racist and homophobic and sexist? No. Sometimes you just suck.
Right.
And it's like, this nigga just sucks. You suck at comedy.
Yeah.
You're bad at comedy. Get better at comedy, but don't be the first to scream racism because you didn't get into a competition, because then that just dismisses all the actual racism.
Yeah. It makes it easier for actual racists just lumping in with that, where it's like, see, that wasn't actually
racist there's some
either.
actual racist and homophobic club owners out there, and I've worked for some, and I know that they're racist and homophobic, but you saying that, it just makes all of us look like it devalues when it actually happens. So it's like, he's a terrible comment, and I hate when people do that. It's your club is racist. It's like, no, nigga, you're not funny.
Well, and all, yeah. Or the same, or like the same thing where it's like it happens on stage sometimes where like if I say something and it doesn't get a laugh, I could never
Yeah.
be like, oh, because y'all hate white people.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would be, and also, I would never say that
Yeah.
shit. I'd be like, no, this just isn't for them.
1,000%.
Roll through it. But sometimes when it happens in reverse, you're like, I'm just, no, there was nothing, I didn't get the joke. Or
Yeah, because I've done jokes when I've done like a conservative, like that's more conservative, and I do like a really gay joke, and it doesn't go over well. I'm like, oh, you guys hate gay people. I'm like, no, the joke wasn't tailored. It wasn't, not that they didn't understand it because they're not in that world.
Right.
So I'm like, oh no, that joke's not for you. I shouldn't have done that joke, or I should have made that joke easier for you to understand, because that's my job as a comic, is to make people understand and laugh.
Right.
Because I have to relate to all these niggas, which it makes it my job a little bit harder because I'm a gay man, a gay black man. I have to try to relate to all these white people, but it's the job I signed up for, and I'm good at it.
Don't you hate when people act, and this isn't just comedy, but any sort of like performance art situation where people act sometimes like it's a burden?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I have to. Like, you have to do the thing that you sacrificed years so much
I
to
hate
do.
That. Yeah, it is. It is annoying because it's like we have the best job in the world. There's a bunch of bullshit that goes with it.
Yeah,
it's terrible sometimes, but at the end of the day, we don't have to clock in anywhere.
Yeah.
We don't have to do anything we don't want to do. We get to stand on stage and yell at people for a living.
I'll also say we don't clock in or clock out. We're kind of always on. We're kind of
we're kind of working. Like there's definitely the pros and cons, but at the end of the day, it's like if we don't want to do it, we could just go get a job. I mean, I don't have a degree and I can't get a job, but you know what I mean.
I mean, flipping straight dudes.
Yeah.
Get you
flip this straight
host
nigga.
of Undercover Gay.
This season on Undercover Gay.
Well, I mean, okay, so it seems to me like the core. That there's a we cook the beef and the flavor of it is this: own yourself, be you.
Yeah.
Don't hide behind.
Don't hide behind whatever adjectives you are.
Or also, but like also be you. Like don't take other people's shit. Don't dress gay.
Yeah, don't just gay and unless you're gonna be gay, or unless you're gonna be comfortable with gay people hitting on you.
Yeah.
And then turning them down and not being a dick. Because I've hit on some dudes and they get like mad, like, what am I doing? And they want to fight. It's like, nigga, you're wearing a vest. Like, just like, if you're gonna dress flamboyantly, then just be ready to turn down a bunch of gay niggas.
I like how you're in here with a pink shirt with a pineapple on it. With flamingos on the pineapple. But so far, your two examples of flamboyant are cardigans and vests.
Yeah. Which I own none. I don't have a cardigan or a vest.
If you're not gay, don't wear any sort of sweater, because I'm just gonna try and fuck it.
Straight people don't get cold. Because you guys you're evil.
You all have higher blood pressure. You all have hypertension. You're sweating all the time.
Yeah.
That is a fucking marvelous journey to take with you, my friend.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Thank you, computer nigga. You've been great.
I love having you on. I'll have you back on. I love seeing you. We'll plug all your stuff in the intro. But like, you're a fucking just a wonderful.
AkeemWoods.com for everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna put that up there. Don't you worry.
Tour dates. And if you have a dick pic you want to send me, you want me to help you fix the dick pic? 321-431-1426.
Fix the dick pic?
Yeah.
Wait, what does that mean?
I fix straight dudes' dick pics. I have a sketch. I'll send it to you. It went kind of viral, but I have a sketch called Hitch Dicks where I fix. It's like the movie Hitch, but for dicks. Right. Yeah, I fix straight niggas.
Meaning you Photoshop them, or you give them notes on how to take a better dick pic?
Yeah. I was just on a podcast.
Are you a dick pic coach?
I am. I literally have a picture right now that someone texted me that I have to send them notes to.
Well, it took us an hour to get to that fucking.
I'm sorry, I thought you
beef.
knew.
No, that's fantastic. Dick pic coach, Akeem Woods.
Yeah, Akeem Woods, 321-431-1426.
Fucking hey, thank you, buddy.
You're welcome. I have so many dicks on this phone. Yeah, I just got a picture.